Hello, everybody. Welcome to a strange video. So, today, what I'm going to be doing is I am going to be talking about a very strange and very weird book that I read. So, I want to give a little bit of backstory. So, I have been obsessed with Choose Your Own Adventure books. You probably already know this. I've posted many videos on the channel about it. But one thing that I recently found that's really cool is on Internet Archive. You guys know what Internet Archive is. They have a thing where you can rent a bunch of books, kind of like a library, and they have a ton of different Choose Your Own Adventure books. I've read a lot of them. I read one that was like a roller skating one. I wanted one. I read a one where you're a millionaire. I read two of them that weren't like other ones. They were like teen summer romances from the 80s or something cool. But today I am going to be talking about the one that has to be the craziest one I have ever read. Okay, this one is called Track Star. Okay, dude, I have so many thoughts about this book, dude. I have so many thoughts about this book. So Track Star. It's about you are a kid in like high school and you're training to become the best track person ever. Okay, and the main thing about this book that it has a anti-doping, anti-drug message, which is a good thing. That is a good thing. That's not why I hate this book. That is a good thing, guys. You shouldn't do steroids or anything like that. They have very bad side effects. But the way it goes about it, dude, it's just like you could have been like I know it's a kids book, so it's like I wish it was like a little bit more like subtle with it, okay? Because it like this the author, I think it's R.A. Montgomery, wants you to be crystal clear in the fact that he doesn't that it is bad, and they put it into almost every single conversation, and it's like it's so on the nose. It's so on the nose. It's brought up in almost every single conversation, dude. And it's so crazy because you're the character in a book, and it's like it's weird because it's like some parts of it were boring to read because there's like walls of text being like you think about doping, or like you'll just be like in a random like conversation, it'll be doping. You think, oh, are you gonna forced into doping, which is like, I mean, yeah, I understand why it's in the book, because it's a book about track and it's a book about like, sports and stuff, and that stuff happens, and it also mentions, oh, all the athletes who have done and all the terrible things. And it's like, yeah, terrible things. That's not good, but it's just so on the nose. It did so many different things, dude. I'm just like, you could have made it like if you're trying to like tell a message with this, if you're trying to like tell a message with this book, you got to make sure you do it in a way that's like still interesting for kids to read, because I felt like this book was a slog at some point, and usually I like the choose your own adventure books. Like most of them are good. They're good. I like them. Okay, this one was a slog to get through sometimes, and like there's a lot of like in this one it includes a lot of like internal like narration and internal monologues and stuff, and it's just like the person's just paranoid the whole time, and just there's just a lot of weird things that happen in this book. Like you'll go up and you'll just like you just want to ask random people about like doping and stuff like that. And dude, there's some crazy there's like a crazy death in this book, dude. It is insane, bro. Oh, no, 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 no. So there is this one path. Okay, let me look. So there's this one path. There's at the beginning of the book. There's three main choices that you can make. Okay, so you're like, it shows you like, oh, you're this like athlete. You're this big athlete. You're really fast. You're pretty good at it. There's just three things that you can do at the beginning of the book. You can talk with your friend Gail. He's one of your friends. He's kind of like you're suspicious. You think he's taking the roids. Okay. You can ask Antonia, which is like another one of your friends. He's the good one. He doesn't take the roids. And then you can pursue Samson, which is like your coach that you think is like a drug dealer. You're very suspicious. You don't like this man for some reason. You're just like, bro, this man probably he's giving out roids. You think, okay? So the first path that I did was I did the Samson one, okay? And it's so weird because it like drags on, because it's like, okay, you're gonna go pursue him, you're gonna go ask him, and then you're sitting there and you're just like, oh, should I like approach him, or should I just not uh do it, or something like that? And then it's like, oh, should I go ask the people, or should I go search for myself? And then it's so weird, dude. It's so weird. And then you sneak into his office, and he's like, "Oh, these mysterious supplements You think they're like, oh my goodness, are these drugs? Like that's all your character thinks about. They are super paranoid about everyone being on drugs, everyone being on drugs. It's crazy, dude. But this path is not like too bad. Cause like some of the endings are like, you what is it? You ask some other kids, you like go up to these other kids and then you ask about Roy's and they tell you stuff like that and you're like, oh, yay. What are some of the other endings? Hide the box. Oh yeah. So you go into his office. You can either choose to ask him about the supplements, or you can just hide the box and not do that. Um, and then he'll be like, "Oh, these are actually legal supplements." And then you can say, "Oh, do you want to take them, or do you not want to take them?" Blah blah blah. But the craziest path has to be when you talk with Gail, because one of the endings that ends up happening, first of all, one of the things that happens is that like you go home with Gail and he's part of like this like group, and you meet this like mysterious dealer guy, and they're like trying to like get people hooked on roids. It's so crazy, dude. Oh my goodness. They're trying to get people hooked on roids, and you have to like join this group, and then like they're like, okay, we gotta go meet this mysterious guy named Foster. And then Foster's like, oh, actually I'm like with the feds or something, and I'm trying to take these people down. And then you get them caught, and like they get caught by the Fed. They get busted by the feds. And then one part, he's like, "Oh, they tried to place it." Mentions cocaine, dude, in a children's book. Mind you, this is a children's book. Like they placed cocaine into your pocket or whatever, dude. That's There's a one path where Gail gets like he's on roids or something. He gets into a car crash and he dies, dude. And they all have. I'm like, what the hell? What the heck? And there's another one where you kind of like you're like you accept the mission. I think it's you accept the mission, and then you're like driving this box to the guy, and like Gail's with you, and then like Gail crashes the car and dies, and then you get like permanently paralyzed. I'm like, what? He's, it all comes out of nowhere, dude. It all comes out of nowhere. And then there's another. This is a different, but this is on another path where like you at this coach, you're like, oh, you ask this coach because you're like, I guess this character in the book is just like going through a lot of like anxiety and stuff like that, paranoid. And the coach is like, oh, don't worry, blah blah blah. I can have you take these shakes or something. And you're like paranoid. You're like, oh, I don't want to take these shakes, but if you do, then like for some reason one of the endings is like, oh, they find traces of drugs in it or something like that, and then you get banned. I'm like, what? So this book's crazy. This book is completely bonkers and off the rails, but it's also just boring too. Like this is probably the most boring one out of all the ones that I've read. Lots of just lecturing about the bad influences on steroids, blah blah blah. Long giant chunks of just nothingness having to do with this book. I feel like there's a lot of fluff. There's a lot of fluff in this book. There's one where you can volunteer teaching, you can take the job, not take the job. Oh, and dude, one thing I don't like is there's a fake choice. There's a fake choice. Okay, so what you can do is there's a one on the Antonio path. That's the shortest one. So what you can do is you can go at you ask Antonio, blah, you talk with him, and then you can be like, oh, and then because his family is like poor and stuff, so you can be like, oh, do you want to stick with athletics, or do you want to like volunteer at this, I think like volunteer for like to help these underprivileged kids. Okay, that's good. So if you go with the stick with athletics path, you do your thing, but you start to get distant from Antonio. You start to like drift apart, and you're worried that he's using roids, because of course that's all this character thinks about in this whole entire book is roids, roids, roids. And then, and then you can choose. You can be like, oh, should I confront him or should I let it pass? But what's so dumb about it is if you choose to let it pass, you go to a page and there's two sentences that say you don't feel right about it, so you decide to confront him. Okay, so then why would you include the choice in the first place? Okay, I hate when they do that. It's a fake choice, dude. Why would you include? Why would you have the ability for us to make the choice if it's gonna be two sentences that say, oh, actually, you want to confront him? Just don't include it then, okay? Just don't include the choice. Why do that? At least write one page of stuff that could happen if you didn't confront him. But I don't know, dude. I don't know what they were thinking with this book, man. This one was just not good. And like, there's other ones that had like weird, like I have a lot of them. I'll talk about a lot of other ones, but like the roller star one where you're like a skateboarding one. I'm like, I don't know if I like this one. It was good. I liked it. But this one is just so off the rails, so wacky. The message is good. I just want to be clear. The message is good. But I just don't like the way it's told. The way they went about it, it's not good. This one is probably one of the only ones that I probably will not read again. I don't know. I won't really read it again, but I'm not gonna give it a ranking. I just wanted to talk about it. Okay, I just wanted to talk about it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys go on to Internet Archive and read them. You can rent them for free. You don't have to use your library card. You don't have to use nothing. You just gotta sign up with your email and stuff, make an account, and then boom, you got it. It's that easy. It's that simple. Okay, so yeah. See you guys. See you guys later.